right. Introduce.
Ryan Lee, Chamber of Commerce.
Jason Beatty, Clemson, Variety and Frame.
Doug Zerble, Your Pie.
Cameron Ferris, Tigertown Tavern.
Neil Burton, Clemson University.
Lindsay Newton, City Liaison.
Thank you. All right, so minutes from August, a couple of months ago.
I've read the minutes and I move to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. All right. We don't have a council member, representative. Do we think he's coming?
He is not coming.
Okay,
Towards the
This
meeting.
was already posted though, so.
That's fine.
all right. Rebecca, metered parking update.
I have a little bit of an update, nothing major. Since our last meeting, we've hired a second parking enforcement officer, Drew. You've seen him downtown. He's happy. He's loving life. Feel free to say hi. The North Sloan project has a contractor. They're not anticipating beginning any work until after the last home game of the season, depending on how far university football goes, depends on when that is. So Nathan Hinkle will have more information on that the closer we get, I suppose. Also, we're currently conducting a traffic study for phase 1 of the streetscape. Anticipate having those results in mid-November. Again, that's a Nathan Hinkle thing. If you have questions, I can't answer them. You just gave me that note this morning, so I'm like, I don't know what it means, but okay, I'll say it.
Phase one's Hubbard and Young to,
No, phase 1 will be from North Clemson down to 93.
down the other way, okay.
No changes in the mobile pay development as of September 25th. New software is currently in the testing phase, and the developer is not sure how long that phase is going to last or when it will be disseminated to T2 system users. This is a priority for me. I have until the beginning of the semester to get mobile pay options out there per council, so I am constantly bugging them. I have a new account representative with T2. This is my third one. Hopefully we'll be able to get farther than the last two. So hopefully I'll have something new coming up. I just want to make you guys aware as business owners downtown, I've received disputes lately from employees downtown that range from I had an emergency at my company and that's why I parked in a handicap lane, will you please dismiss my ticket? To I work downtown, I am entitled to free parking. Please, please, please pass along to your employees. They're not entitled to free parking. If they don't have a handicap placard, they can't park in that spot. If they don't have a reserved parking tag, they're not allowed to park in that spot. If they do have a reserved parking tag, please hang it so we can see it. We'll prevent a ticket. Other than that, I don't really have anything. If there's stuff you guys want to discuss or put on my radar, I'm here, I'm game, just let me know. I'm happy to work out new policies, procedures as best I can into supporting you guys downtown.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
As far as letting employees know, that, can that be an email blast to everybody that's on the merchant meeting distribution, just kind of say,
Yes. I'll work.
because I have a feeling you're preaching to the choir, at least I buy several spaces from churches and from other folks, so I know it can't be mine. If it is, I would love to know, but I don't think.
Yeah, same here. And do all the business owners downtown, I know you were at the last downtown merchant meeting, but do they know that you're the one?
I was not at that meeting, and many people know my face and name at this point, between coming into the office, phone calls, emails. I think a lot of people know who I am by now. I don't think Lindsay's getting quite as many calls from merchants regarding parking.
You're not in that loop anymore?
It's somebody who hasn't needed to communicate in a long time, and it's a random email. It's not anybody that's a regular communicator. But Becca and I can draft an email from her, and I can send it to the merchant list, and that way.
Yeah, you know, velvet hammer, right?
Yeah.
It don't have to be.
It does not have to be cranky or
Right.
pointed too far, but
Velvet hammer.
Just as a
it's a
reminder.
refresher.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Good.
Any possibility that some of the folks that might be taking or parking in those spaces are maybe employees, but maybe not on duty at that time, and they're looking to,
It absolutely could be. But I think the onus would be on the business owner to have a staff meeting and say, look, we either do or we don't have parking that, I know Doug has parking that he, and I think Pete
Purchases,
does it too, purchases it, that, you know, there's like a code or something that they can put in for rates and stuff for on shift, but,
and it might be the business owner, but I was thinking in the email, it might be, could it be helpful to say, while you're working, or whatever relationship you have with parking with your particular company?
Yeah. And I'm not saying this is probably, maybe not a high instances of this, but there's probably some roommates, friends, students that have heard, oh, if you get a parking ticket and you go down there and you tell them you were at work.
yeah, that's why I'm saying I would like to give the business owners the benefit of the doubt, which is why it doesn't, like, her word's a great word, don't be cranky about your email, because it could be, I mean, it could be any number of things that this person is saying to try and
Parking
get
is
out of a ticket.
an unending problem, and, I mean, even me with a very good parking situation, I have 3 or 4 employees who live together, and they'll bring 4 cars to work. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know, why? You all have to drive down here at the same time, and you all have to drive home at the same time? But that's just the nature of it.
I think just a note,
Yeah.
I think it'll go a long way.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Excellent.
All right, thank you, Becca. All right, so I guess, Lindsay, are there any follow-ups from the discussion at the merchants meeting?
It's you.
That's me?
I was at the merchant, were you at the
I
merchant?
was at the merchants meeting.
There were some items that were discussed that were good to come back to this group for more discussion.
You emailed me what those were. Hold on.
I remember my biggest question, but it was answered there, was would any of this work require College Avenue to be closed? And the answer was no. That the majority of, I guess, the construction work and staging and whatnot was gonna be at the site of the former Planning and Code building that is now a Connex box, I guess, just through football season to give the police a substation presence downtown. But I'm assuming that's gonna be like where all the building materials and bobcats or whatever may be used in that project's gonna be staged. And that was my main, because if you shut down College Avenue, it hurts us bad, so.
And then the meeting was productive, and I think there was about a 75% take on, yes, it will be painful, but in the end, it will be good for us. And then there was a 25% probably extremely upset, but we'll just have to work with them, because
It was the loss of was it 11 parking spaces because of the angle of we're not gonna have parallel parking now, we're gonna have angled pull in and pull out, is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it's around 8 parking
It's 8
spaces.
spaces.
Losing.
We are looking at places to like pick them up around.
and it was because some of the ADA compliance and widening the sidewalks, we're gonna lose some down
The
there.
sidewalks need to be widened, I mean, you can't even go down there with a stroller.
Yeah, like I said, 75% take rate of happiness, and it's gonna hurt, but we'll get it done, and 25% of I'm mad, but. And I think there was discussion of having another meeting once we hammered out some options, you know.
I would,
I was not at that meeting.
who is the contact with the city that talks to the contractor?
Nathan Hinkle.
Yeah, Nathan.
Okay,
He's our city engineer and kind of the
Yeah.
forefront for this project.
okay. I think one thing, a recommendation that we could make, at least I would pose, is that the scope of work and the amount of demolition, deconstruction, and reconstruction, I know they're gonna try and do this through a summer, if I'm not mistaken,
That's correct.
which would be great. However, if that runs over, is there a way to nibble at the project to where you don't have instead of having an entire side of the road tore up for 8 weeks, you know, can you tear up a quarter of it, get that quarter back opened, tear up another quarter, get that quarter back open. I don't know what it does to the cost. It may be not feasible to do that. But in my mind, it's better for people coming downtown, because I know what's gonna happen. People are gonna be like, they're gonna see fencing and everything down along, and sidewalks closed along that area, and they're gonna be like, well, downtown's closed, or you can't get to that end. And that would be bad for those folks on that end of town. Is there a way, or has that discussion already happened to say, can we do this where limit the closure of the sidewalk, if that makes any sense? I know you're gonna have to bake a cake, you gotta break eggs, I get it, but.
I think that's in their plan,
Yeah.
and that end of
As much as
town,
can be done, I think that
Yeah.
is in the.
You
thought
understand, I
process.
didn't word it all that well, but
No, we understand exactly what you're
just to
saying.
completely tear it up for 8 weeks.
and talking to
It's
the,
in sections.
Yeah, that's
like-
great, okay.
talking to the contractor and Nathan at the meeting, it looks like a giant project from a layman's point of view, but to these guys, it's not, I'm not gonna say it's not that big, but it will go by quicker than we think.
Yeah,
Once they
it's a
break
small
ground.
project when it comes to.
Yeah, a
like,
cityscape.
actual- Yeah, cityscape length. This is a pretty short section we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, it's both sides though, correct?
But they're gonna do one side at a time.
They're gonna do one side at a time.
But isn't there some utility upgrades going on at the same time?
That I'd have to check in.
There's some stormwater, sewer water, and water intake being done behind those buildings because they gotta modernize some stuff and change some things. But they are gonna get some of that done that won't be
Okay.
involved in this endeavor.
But it can be kind of parceled up into, one side of the road sidewalk, one side of the road sidewalk, and then kind of the plaza area. And we can do them, not all at the same time, obviously.
And the plaza area will be the biggest, and then the area in front of TD's will be the second largest. And both those will not, well, they will impact the coffee shop and TD's, but the hope is that the little piece on the sidewalk that is directly in front of some of the smaller, they don't have their storefront will be really quick.
Correct. Yeah, the biggest part of this is the plaza, and that one is, thank goodness, kind of off on its own.
Right.
So we should be able to kind of keep downtown intact while we're doing the majority of the project.
Will the summer Tuesday night still go on through next summer with the construction? Lindsay, do you know? You don't know?
We budgeted for it,
Okay.
so,
I
but
think it might have to be adjusted as to
Yeah.
where exactly that takes place. It obviously
that's
will
what
not
I
be in
was
the
thinking,
plaza.
that the stage may not be, it might be down the street a little ways or in north,
That would, I could make that happen.
we will do what we can to try and make it happen, even if it has to look differently. That's been my idea
Yeah.
in my head.
I don't think there's any reason why we wouldn't be able to have it at all. It just might
Yeah.
not be exactly where it was.
Right.
Like I said, we'll hold it in Cameron's parking lot. All the bathrooms right there will be perfect.
He would love it. He would finally get some benefit from it.
Yeah,
Your pie would love it.
yeah, it's just,
Maybe that's what we'll do, just move it down to that end of the
yeah, we
street.
can eventually board, open up their parking lot too, and just have it kind of go right across the street, have it pull.
I remember the other item that was part of that follow-up. There were two options that were presented, and I think we ended up leaning on the one that had the least impact to parking. Is
Yes,
that right?
it was the
Okay.
one side.
Yeah.
loop.
And that's behind us, and that's been communicated? I just don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was,
Yeah.
the contractors were there, Nathan was there, and that was what was, yes.
Yeah, so this is a design build contract, so the contractor is going to do the final design. They've obviously been giving design, I guess criteria, or what do you wanna call it, guidelines, and then the designer is gonna come back to the city with the final design. At that point, it'll be represented to
Yeah.
everybody, say, hey, this is what we're going for.
Okay. Good.
I thought that the bathroom discussion was something, the hours, because there'll be a public restroom component. And there was a division in the group as to like what the hours for the restroom being open should be. That was one of the things I think I said to
I
you.
won't call any names, but there's one business that stays open past 2 in the morning because they're not a bar, okay? And they desperately want public bathrooms for that period of time. And I know as a bar owner that that's unrealistic, that you simply don't need unlocked public restrooms 24/7. And I personally believe that once retail starts to close, let's just say even on a home football game weekend at 9 o'clock or something, that's when we can start thinking about cutting off public restrooms. Because now if you're downtown, you're in the scope of someone who's servicing you after retail's closed, so you use their bathroom. Now, do people sometimes need to use the bathroom when they stay out till 2 in the morning and get kicked out of the downtown bars? Probably so. But that's gonna have to be a bar problem and you're an adult now problem, and you need to make arrangements before you get on the street. But, you know, and I'm very, very versed in bathroom design and bathroom usage, and
Nothing good happens in a bathroom after 9 p.m.
that's probably true.
You're gonna have vacancy problems over there.
No.
You know, people spending the night and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
you cannot have unmonitored bathrooms. I would venture to say never past 9 o'clock, unless there was a festival or something where you were manning it. And that's just, and if I were in charge of building the bathrooms for the city's Welcome Center, I would have 2 nice bathrooms inside, unisex, ADA compliant, that are only open when it's manned, and then I would have outside bathrooms that are basically just brick and mortar porta-johns, nothing to break, nothing to get messed up, as many as you could afford to put. I would say 6 to 8 maybe, and then they would be locked until the city deemed that they would be necessarily open.
Who's doing the design of the bathroom area? Is it the part of this same contractor that's doing the streetscape?
It's the same contractor, but again, the city will have lots of input.
Okay.
I mean, there's.
Because it needs to be, I mean, there are things, he makes a great point. And another thing I would add, and this is just a dad having to use restrooms when I have my kids, it needs to be big enough to pull a stroller into, you know, like a family restroom, so you're not leaving it outside while you're taking your kid in. So I think there are things that need to be communicated to the contractor, and what would be the avenue to do that?
I mean, if you guys want to come up with a list of just, you know, suggestions and email them to us, we can absolutely
That's
make.
why I thought this would be something good
Yeah,
to
if you guys just kind
discuss,
of come, I
for
mean,
y'all
we've
to discuss.
been discussing all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
there's a whole movement in bathrooms that are like, you know, we're talking publicly accessible. There's some cities who are doing them like stalls where you can see underneath from the outside, because it keeps a whole lot of negative activity from that.
Right.
So, and it keeps it easier to clean, open, a whole bunch of reasons. So, I mean, the final design has not been decided. Every idea is being taken in.
And some of it is codes driven, because this new construction, there won't be ADA compliant bathrooms involved in it, because that's what is required by code.
Right.
And those are big enough for full-on family style, but they don't all have to be that way. And you can save some money by making, like you said, you know, basically stall bathrooms. And you know, we're not that big a municipality, but in large municipalities, especially in Europe, they pop up stalls for the guys on the street, you know, that Germany's famous for them. But I don't think that we're at that point yet. Maybe, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure all avenues, and
So on this, there's a lot of great stuff here, and I think it would warrant a working session with Nathan and maybe one of the contractors once they're at a point where they're, you know, where they need input as well as they can share with us kind of, and we can recruit some of the other downtown merchants that are interested in attending, just an open working session to kind of talk through. That
Yeah,
way
before they get too deep in the architectural drawing of it, we would like to kind of weigh in on.
and I know that there's going to be a second downtown merchants meeting.
Yeah, the design might be pretty far along
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, the easiest way, again, like I said, is kind of just coming up with a bullet point list and emailing it to them. I don't know if we have anything in the contract about them attending, like, an economic development commission meeting as far as the contractor. We can absolutely get Nathan here, I can guarantee that, but I can't guarantee you.
we start with Nathan, we'll just do a
He can just
working
communicate it
session,
to
Yeah.
them, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be probably the.
So do that next week?
Yeah, what's next week?
Well, there's no home game.
Slow down.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to publish it.
I'm just trying to do it before they get too deep into the design.
Right, no, and there's a lot of questions that I think that they would value input on too, so.
And the reason I was kind of, I guess, say better versed in this project is because I was asked to sit in on the picking of the design build team because of my bathroom experience, I guess. I'm assuming that's why they asked me. But, I mean, it's a real challenge. Bathrooms, it's the, you know.
Well, just share with the viewing public, how many towel dispensers would you say you replace in a football season?
So that's a good point. I paid a welding contractor to build me basically some 7 bulletproof boxes that wrap around my paper towel dispensers to prevent damage because I was replacing at least 2 or 3 paper towel dispensers per week, not football season, just
Yeah.
per week.
The viewing public has no idea.
We try not to have, unless required by code, any flat surfaces inside the bathrooms. We try not to have only enough room inside the bathrooms except where required by code, ADA compliance, that the only activity you can do in the bathroom is use the bathroom. Everything has to be, I'm gonna say penal grade or middle school grade. You need it to be so sturdy that you could unleash a flock of middle schoolers at it and they can't break it. My wife likes good toilet paper in the bar, and she's the boss, and we are now at the point where our outside bathrooms, we're buying the cheapest toilet paper that we can because of people purposely ruining it, and you know why.
Yeah. So these are the things that need to be
Yeah.
communicated
And-
in the design.
And there's, you know, futuristic bathrooms that clean themselves. There's all kind of stainless steel apparatuses you can get. That's like it's on a battleship or something, but those are enormously expensive. Prison grade.
But then again, you also don't want a mom going in with a stroller into a prison bathroom. You just don't want that image for the city. So I actually
That's
think
why the hours that it's open
Yeah.
are,
And I think the hours that the bathrooms eventually, when they get built, and like I said, if it was up to me, I would have some nice ADA compliant bathrooms right in the kiosk area, and it's gonna take up some room, and then on the exterior of the building,
Yeah.
you could have a row of bathrooms, much like I built, that essentially the city would be permanent porta-johns. They'd never have to get porta-johns again, they just unlock the door.
actually the ones outside Richardson Street Garage in Greenville
Exactly the same.
are nice.
Exactly.
You can tell that they're designed, they have a drain in the middle. It looks like it's designed for somebody to literally hook a hose and just hose the entire bathroom and let it drain to the drain and
That's
that
exactly
kind
how
of thing.
mine
So,
Okay.
and at the work session, we can also discuss hours of operation, what our recommendation for hours of
Hours.
operation would be,
Yep.
as well as design input, so.
So a proposal, 12:30 next Wednesday at
Wednesday,
Europe.
I can't do Wednesday.
Tuesday,
Tuesday I can do.
I cannot do Tuesday.
Thursday,
I can do Thursday.
The only day I cannot do is Wednesday.
I will make myself available any day.
Thursday, just a pinch later. I got a catering order in Anderson that I gotta get.
I mean,
back
it doesn't
from.
have to be lunch
So
for
1
me. It
o'clock.
could be,
1 o'clock?
I can do that.
right?
1 o'clock Thursday,
1 o'clock Thursday, your pie.
24th.
And Lindsay, I don't know why you would have to be there. I guess Nathan could do it without.
Yeah.
Do we know Nathan's calendar?
I do not.
I have, it's on my computer. Give me,
And where's this gonna be, here, or
Your pie.
your buying?
Downtown
Lake.
Lake one? Got it.
Hey, we can do it downtown if it's more convenient.
I mean,
No, we got parking problems.
Yeah.
Do not say that.
I just like the lake.
Neil, are you gonna be able to make it?
If it's downtown, I can. If it's out the lake, it'd be a
Be hard.
challenge.
Well, let's do downtown then.
Okay.
Are we looking at
Downtown,
noon,
one.
one? How long will it take? I've got
As
a 2
long as you
o'clock.
can, as long as you can participate.
You get a-
Oh, it won't last 2 hours.
No, he's
No,
got 2 o'clock.
I've got a 2 o'clock.
Oh, others said a 3 o'clock, sorry.
No, we should be able to talk about that in less than.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nathan's calendar might kibosh the whole thing, though.
Right now, he's got something at 10:30, and then he appears to be open until 4, so.
So I guess unless Nathan, we hear word that he can't do it that time, we'll just say next Thursday, 1 PM, downtown, York
Downtown,
High.
York High.
Now, one quick question, the number of vacancies we have here, I think Rick did say he was out of town, did that, all right?
Yes.
And then, do we have any vacancies on the,
We do, so we have an update on that. Hold on,
Let's call that new business.
yeah.
That's okay. So
We have, I can't type and talk.
neither can I.
It's the 24th?
It is
right?
the 24th, yep.
We have the 93 business vacancy that was Jeff Bennett. And we also have Anna Hughes was a resident. And she has moved to Central. And she will stay on until the seat is filled, but it is currently posted with or it will be posted when the posting goes out for the vacancy. So we have 2 vacancies and terms to fill.
all right.
You have any candidates in
You
those?
have to be residents, right?
One is a resident seat and one is a business on Highway 93. And also think about too,
93, what about?
93 all the way past campus and heading around. At least, I know for me that when I think of 93, I think of over here, but we've also got,
What about Abernathy?
we got SO and campus
What about
copy.
Abernathy? I know Barbara she sits on a lot of boards. She's the
Yeah,
GM for
Abernathy.
Abernathy. I thought we might want to have a hotel on this.
That would be probably beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
I could talk to Barbara Sheehan. She's on my board as well, at the chamber. She's on the ATAX committee as well. Is that okay? She's on other committees?
I don't know about that.
Okay. I think she is on the ATAX.
I think there's an exclusion, I know there is.
I don't think you can do.
You can't
2.
do more than one appointed committee in the city limits, city municipality. Multiple people have left this committee to go on to others.
Michael Heater from the Courtyard Marriott
I was
might
gonna
not
say,
be
is
bad.
anybody from the Marriott?
Yeah, that would.
Hotel representation
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Definitely.
And then a resident. So,
Yeah, I can't have you there.
I'll fish around for residents.
and, yeah, and so they would just fill out the,
And the residence, is it large? It doesn't have to be a certain
yeah, it's that
neighborhood?
large. It's,
Maybe I could find somebody to do that. Ask around.
Okay, so you're gonna approach
Michael Heater,
Michael?
but for this committee, right? Yep.
All right, excellent.
Good.
okay, there on the last agenda where I wasn't here, there was discussion and recommendation. There was a desire to have a recommendation to extend enforcement hours. Something in that meeting was postponed. Don't want to send that what is hanging out there with that? Is there something that I need to do? Did you just decide that you don't think that it's?
You're talking about parking enforcement? Once
Yeah,
the meter-
yes, and I
once the
mean, you got to
meter
go
is
back
installed.
to, that would have been August, so that would have been June's meeting was the discussion where you wanted to make a recommendation to council to extend enforcement hours. So then that means that at the August meeting on the agenda was a recommendation for y'all to approve, but it's somewhere in that discussion, it was not, you tabled it or you said I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so I remember
the
the,
meeting was not recorded, so I can't I only have Andy's notes to go by.
Right.
So,
And I'll just kind of regurgitate the feedback we got at Merchants meeting
Okay.
as well on this topic. So we were this committee was of the mindset that we try to go to 8 o'clock and that we try to extend to Saturday once we had
yeah.
additional resources on staff. Then we got feedback from some community members as well as maybe, I think it was at the Merchant meeting, that, hey, if you go beyond 5, then I can't park and go get ice cream. Do you remember who said
Yeah,
that?
I remember.
Remember that?
It was Bob Bookover at the merchant meeting.
Okay, and so, you know, do you really want to extend past 5? Or, you know, because the community does see the opportunity to come down and park for free from that aspect. So,
Okay.
so that was one thing that we should clearly evaluate and take into account. But I don't think there was anything that refuted the Saturday. Let's go into Saturday, and that will prevent the Friday 2 o'clock to Monday 9 o'clockers.
And that wasn't part of the recommendation. That first recommendation was just to look at,
And I think that was a manpower thing.
Yes, it
Because to do
was.
Saturday, you were gonna need an additional head
yes.
to work the weekend.
And it was separate, like it was 2 separate discussions. It was like the.
And then if I'm
extending-
not mistaken, I had made mention, do we think about contracting
Yes.
weekend hours
Yes.
to an outside parking enforcement company and not necessarily have them be a city employee?
Okay, so new
But I know that was just in
information-
passing.
New information about extending the hours, just kind of like, let's pump the brakes on that and,
I think extending to Saturday is
yes, but I'm talking about
during the
beyond
day.
5.
Beyond 5.
Beyond 5 is kind of,
Yeah, it was a,
that one alone.
I think so. It was a very convincing argument as to why not to pass, to extend it past
And the
5.
universities also, when their enforcement ends, it kind of alleviates some of our problems.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
But Saturday enforcement, I think everybody was in agreement that we need Saturday enforcement.
Okay, so we'll revisit that one.
Well, we can make a recommendation to council.
Make a recommendation to
To-
council
yeah,
to
now that-
extend parking enforcement into Saturday, same hours?
Same hours Saturday, now that we have,
So parking enforcement would be Monday through Saturday. Was it 9 AM to
It's
5 PM?
8
8 AM to 5 PM?
and then obviously the game day situation would be completely.
Excluding special event days, like game days. There's no way you're gonna enforce it on a game day anyway.
What
We
about
already
summer?
do.
Summer, I don't know if the answer.
Park enforcement on game days.
Well, yeah, because you have to pay to park in the deck.
But along the street, College Avenue, he's not enforcing, he's just,
I have no clue. I just know
No,
that.
well, because mobile pay.
I don't think you would be able to,
Mobile pay doesn't work and we don't, the ordinance doesn't.
I think
have
you should
Saturday.
exclude Saturdays anyway. Not Saturdays, game day Saturdays, special event Saturdays,
Do we care about
except for the
summer?
parking garage.
Summer,
Well, I do know that we do suspend it for Christmas, between graduation or between actually final exams and Christmas, I think it's suspended. If there is a vehicle that council can use to do it without having to have another vote, how do they suspend it for Christmas? They have to vote?
the chamber in the past would propose it in a meeting, they would vote on it twice and pass the ordinance.
So maybe we treat summer the same way for June and July.
I was just thinking that might save a little on enforcement if it's not a problem during the summer.
Right.
You know, and truthfully, when we think about our enforcement guys working, we could maybe pick and choose a 2-week span, and then the enforcement guys could get their vacation hours in and not, you know, I don't know. That's not a bad idea. It's like, hey, you get 2 weeks off, you know, you go to the beach.
Well, I think we still want enforcement during the summer, it just will be a little
on
less.
Saturdays.
Yeah,
on
the
Saturdays.
extended, which is why I was saying like this extended time that we're recommending, is it just during school? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but we're not extending the hour. We don't recommend extending the hours. just recommend-
extending to Saturday. To include
Extending to Saturday.
Saturday
right.
enforcement.
Saturday enforcement.
apples to apples, I know for, the Greenville, Anderson, other municipalities have Saturday enforcement,
Yeah.
correct? So, and we're not that big, it's not apples to apples, but it's not unheard of to have Saturday enforcement for parking.
Okay.
So, motion, I'm gonna try to word it. We make a motion that council considers extending parking enforcement to include Saturday, same hours
I can live with that.
during the school year.
I second.
Do you want to mention anything about game day?
August.
Excluding-
Excluding game days and special
Special
events. And so instead of just saying school year, from August through May.
And then the holiday exception would just be a special vote posed, or prompted by the chamber. So yes, I think that wording would work.
Well, we could do it again for the summer if need be, if that's what it requires.
Yeah, the chamber could always, if you got some input from members that say, hey, it'd be cool if we had like a parking holiday, like a sales tax
Even if
holiday.
it's just like 4th of July weekend or something,
You want
just
to read back, see if we got it clean enough?
or the week of the 4th or something.
We consider extending parking enforcement to include Saturdays with same hours.
As Monday through
I mean,
Friday.
I'll wordsmith it up.
Okay, we'll
I'll
let you
listen to
wordsmith
the-
it.
Yeah, because then you went back and said excluding game days.
And
then
special
someone threw
events.
in there August through May. All I know is that I know what you want to recommend and that Jason Beatty seconded it. And
Okay.
I'll send it to you
Okay.
for
Good, awesome.
move on that.
All right.
You want to vote on it?
Okay.
Do you want me
I
to draft,
second it.
you want me
All
to
in
draft a
All in
recommendation?
favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
We can live with that.
Opposed? Carried. Do we have any old business?
I don't think so.
How about new business?
I guess we kind of dabbled on it trying to find new members. but-
Members. And you and I have homework for a resident, and he has homework for a potential.
I can do that.
I've already texted him, so yeah.
All right, next Thursday, 1 o'clock, downtown Yurpai, working session.
Wait.
Anything else? Meeting's officially adjourned.
And the ordinance that you guys
That might be my
recommended
favorite
about
hand
the
ever,
bond
by the way.
for
That might be
commercial,
my favorite hand ever.
did get passed by city council.
I told you I tried to get, my wife does all the retail stuff. The swag, and I tried to get her, I said, we need to get visors for the tap. She's like, you're the only person left.